Young girls Nina Nikolaeva and Valya Volkova assemble PPD submachine guns in besieged Leningrad 1942. The Last Prisoners Leaving Alcatraz, 1963. Betty Robinson got into a plane crash and was mistakenly pronounced dead. She spent 7 weeks in a coma, and it took her 2 years to learn to walk again. 5 years later, she won a gold medal in the 1936 Olympic Games. A suffragette shows off her tight pants under her skirt. This was in Chicago, Illinois on the 6th of June, 1916. Wichita police officer Terry Morrow empties the pockets of James Allen Kirby after he shot up his middle school in Kansas, 1985. There's a Buddha statue in Afghanistan before its destruction in 1992. A cache of assassination devices was handed to West German authorities by KGB agent Nikolai Koklov in 1954. A 54-year-old Chechen man. This was after the Chechens stopped the Russian advance during the first days of the First Chechen War. This was in Grozny in 1995. A flying car, 1924. This is one of the few photos we have of Vincent van Gogh. He's about 20 years old here. The Miss Syria pageant took place in 1953. No rockets for Nazis. British protesters at Downing Street were against putting nuclear weapons in West Germany during the Cold War in 1960. Jimmy Stewart, the former movie star, is sworn in as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Air Corps. He's being sworn in by Lieutenant E.L. Reed, who was the personnel officer of the West Coast Training Center. This happened at Moffett Field, California, on January 1, 1941. He is fond of flying the RAF Squadron's Fox mascot in France, 1918. Eminem as a young man is showing off his unsigned Hype article. It was featured in the Source magazine back in March of 1998. A kebab merchant is surrounded by cats in Istanbul, 1952. Rachel Weisz in 1997. The ultralight, 1.7-meter Mopetta tricycle weighed just 78 kilograms when ready to use. This guy lost all of his limbs during a battle, but he still managed to look cheeky for the camera. It was during the Civil War. There's a Polish father and his daughter, both hospitalized. They were hurt during a German bombing raid in Warsaw, back in September 1939. There's a tattooed lady at the 1939 New York World's Fair. Princess Diana danced with John Travolta at a White House state dinner on November 9, 1985. Suffragettes are parading with a banner. The banner states, "President Wilson favors votes for women in New York City in 1916. Natalie Wood and Michael Caine in 1966. Young Angela Merkel is having a schnapps with fishermen on the island of Rügen during her first MP campaign in the summer of 1990. There were 4,500 model American airplanes at Union Station, Chicago, in the United States, in 1943. Brigitte Bardot on the set of the film Mademoiselle Striptease, 1956. Two North Vietnamese militia members are holding hands while on patrol. This happened in North Vietnam in 1971. An old photo from Boeing in Seattle, Washington, likely from the 1950s. Liberated prisoners of Dachau camp beat a camp guard, April 29, 1945. A worker is going to the Atomium construction site in Brussels, 1957. The Atomium is one of the main attractions of the capital of Belgium. It was built for the 1958 World Exhibition. The height of this unusual structure is 102 meters. John Hayes, who claims to hold the world record for hanging from a tree and playing guitar in 1960. A group of vintage nurses is giving babies with jaundice some sunshine treatment. On September 20th, 1973, in a highly publicized Battle of the Sexes tennis match, top women's player Billie Jean King, who was 29, beat Bobby Riggs, who was 55, a former #1 ranked men's player. Men are cleaning the doors of the West Portal of Notre Dame in Paris around 1936 to 1939. Amy Adams, senior year from the year 1992. The opening day for Star Wars. Traffic must have been insane on May 25, 1977. There was a traveling medicine salesman in Oklahoma in 1895. Samuel Jackson, John Travolta, Bruce Willis, and Uma Thurman on the set of Pulp Fiction, 1994. Jennifer Aniston and David Schwimmer, 1994. Adolf Hitler meets the Indian nationalist leader Subhas Chandra Bose. Motorcycle chariot races in London, 1927. They were repairing the antenna at the top of the World Trade Center in New York City in 1979. Bruce Lee in California in the 1960s. Sophia Loren and Charlie Chaplin in 1967. In 1959, George Barris built the X-Pac 400 aero car. More Than I Can Say by Leo Sayer. Number 9, Lady by Kenny Rogers. Number 8, Celebration by Kool and the Gang. Number 7, Love on the Rocks by Neil Diamond. Number 6, Guilty by Barbra Streisand and Barry Gibb. Number 5, Woman in Love by Barbra Streisand. Number 4, Just Like, Starting Over by John Lennon. Number 3, Hungry Heart by Bruce Springsteen. Number 2, The Tide is High by Blondie. And number 1, Lady by Kenny Rogers. Pogs were a popular collectible toy and game that gained immense popularity in the 1990s. Particularly among children and teenagers. Paul McCartney is with his wife Linda and their dog Martha on their farm. This was in Scotland in 1970. In 1968, Robert F. Kennedy visits Detroit just before the fatal shooting. $30 bars of silver in Black Hawk, Colorado, 1878. Vincent van Gogh was born in 1853 in Groot Zundert, Netherlands. He passed away in 1890. He was a post-impressionist painter. Inoki is halfway through delivering a brutal kick to Ali's legs in their fight, wrestler versus boxer. Ali's legs were never the same after. It happened on the 26th of June, 1976. Female fighters loyal to the government are aiming at the church building in the courtyard of the convent of San Antonio de la Florida in the district of Arguel. Insurgent Spanish national fighters are hiding there. This happened in 1939. College girls on bicycles are stopping to chat with cadets in 1945. The Beatles with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi at his ashram in Rishikesh, India, 1968. A shell-shocked American soldier walks by several wounded men on the eastern end of Omaha Beach. This was in Normandy, June 6, 1944. Motorhead in New York City, 1981. In 1966, a man carried rifles up the University of Texas Tower and opened fire on people below. Donald J. Trump, 1973. There's a real mix of fashions on a single park bench in Damascus back in 1965. You've got things like a fez, a burqa, headscarves, and even a business suit. A man stands on an ice floe in Grisslehamn, Sweden in 1922. Barrels of alcohol were going to be smuggled into the United States during Prohibition. The smuggling caused an economic boom for the town of West End in the British Bahamas. It was July 2nd, 1921. Two Marines are showing the size difference between an M1 Garand and the M24 training aid. This was sometime between the 1940s and the 1960s. President John F. Kennedy, after beginning his presidency with a speech that declared the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans, celebrated with his wife Jacqueline at his inaugural ball. Alicia Silverstone, 1995. Steven Spielberg and Drew Barrymore on set. Christy Brinkley and Chevy Chase in National Lampoon's Vacation, 1983. Obama was in Kenya in 1987. A strong man's lying on his back on stage. He's lifting a group of men and the bench they're sitting on. It was around 1935. There's a monk at Ganden Monastery in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. The year is 1957. The first successful photograph of a comet, Comet Donati, was taken on September 27, 1858. Joe Biden, Ireland, 1966. We're talking about a 1940s American shipyard. It was a place where they built British cargo ships during World War II. It's a hairstyling competition in Munich, Germany on May 1st, 1964. Princess Diana dancing with John Travolta at the White House in 1985. Girls are participating in the Corpus Christi procession. This was in Vienna or Berlin in the 1930s. Ans van Dyck, a Jewish Nazi collaborator, is on trial for treason. She got paid for every Jewish person she turned in and sold out at least 145 people. That included her own brother. This was in Amsterdam in 1947, Jennifer Connelly in the 1990s. John Cleese, wearing chainmail, is reading a newspaper, while Graham Chapman is quietly smoking a pipe on the set of Monty Python and the Holy Grail in 1974. Training in Canada to be a milkman, 1927. Fleet Admiral Chester W. Nimitz is holding a copy of the Instrument of Surrender of the Japanese Empire at his home in Berkeley, California, around 1948. (1960) Nuns on Vacation. George Metesky was a bomber who terrorized New York City from the 1940s to 1957. He planted 33 bombs. He was found legally insane and committed to a state mental hospital. A teenager water skis while Mount St. Helens erupts from behind them. This happened on May 18, 1980. Arnold Schwarzenegger with his 1957 Cadillac, 1985. The first photograph from the Hubble telescope, 1990. A miner's locker room in Lens, France, 1954. They're newlyweds. The photo was taken during the Civil War in the Dominican Republic in 1965 in Santo Domingo. Debbie Harry, who was 23 in 1968. Whoopi Goldberg and her mother, 1986. Wives and mothers of men at the front are being instructed in shooting at the Wakefield Rifle Range in Wakefield, Massachusetts. This is by Major Portal and U.S. Marines. The year is 1917 to 1918. A young woman takes classes by TV while the state solved the integration issue in September of 1958. Yucatan, Mexico, 1923. Elvia Carrillo Puerto is the first woman elected to the Mexican Congress at a time when women couldn't vote. There are 6 women standing in a line on a street. 5 of them are carrying umbrellas. They're all wearing full-length tabards with slogans on them that read, "Votes for women on the same terms as men," and "Votes for women at 21." This was in 1927. German Foreign Minister Joachim von Ribbentrop is reading the declaration of war against the Soviet Union. This was the biggest military invasion in World War II on June 22, 1941. They're on the edge of the building. The filming of a spectacular stunt on the roof of the Algonquin Hotel became one of the most impressive scenes in the silent film Playball, which was produced by the film company Pathé Exchange in 1925 in New York. Lawrence Brooks, who lived from 1909 to 2022, was the oldest known United States veteran of World War II. Hubert de Givenchy is adjusting the fitting of his design on model Jackie Maisel in 1953. Marilyn Monroe, New York, 1955. During the Chinese Cultural Revolution from 1967 to 1972, students were publicly humiliating their teachers. The reason for this was because the teachers were considered anti-revolutionary. The cost of living in 1970. A statue of Queen Victoria is being moved out of Alfred Park. This was ordered by India's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, sometime in the 1950s. A young geisha is posing in her kimono. This was taken in 1927 in Tokyo, Japan. It's an autochrome shot. Farrah Fawcett and Jacqueline Smith, 1976. The Soviet Union was kicked out of the League of Nations in December 1939 because they invaded Finland. Actress Debbie Mazar at an ABC Network All-Star Party at Café Luxembourg in New York City on May 12, 1992. Marilyn Monroe and Milton Berle are in a publicity photo. They are promoting a Stop Arthritis benefit organized by the Ringling Brothers Circus in 1955. Sigourney Weaver, photographed by Helmut Newton in 1983. Sandra Bullock poses for a magazine shoot in 1993 at her home in LA. A meeting of the Samoan Nazi Party in Apia. The SNP was the official branch of the NSDAP in Western Samoa until its bankruptcy in April 1939. This branch was known in the German Nazi Party for its poor organization and disregard for racial criteria. The Theater of Marcellus, Rome, Italy. It was founded in 13 before Christ. Nowadays, the upper floors are apartments, and the surrounding area is used as a venue for small concerts. German soldiers are attending to an upended German aircraft. The time period is World War I. Elizabeth Hurley in her 80s sporting a punkadelic look. Raquel Welch, 1969. Che Guevara camping in Ireland, 1956. Switzerland, 1903. Mountaineers conquer the Jungfrau. A woman is walking her dogs, 1922. Chicago police arm themselves with guns to prepare for war with gangsters, 1930.